up, y'all? Welcome to another successful Sundays, and welcome to 2026. This is the first successful Sundays that we're having in 2026. Give yourself a round of applause. You know, so today we're talking about the four simple steps that I've taken to set goals, and I have been using these steps for a very long time. So I figured why not make an episode, a live about this. So I've been writing down some notes for the last couple of days of how I've been setting these goals underneath these four simple steps that help you have an outline. So the point of today's live, I want you to be able to have an outline, even if you haven't really thought about how you want to set your goals for 2026. The thought of it's overwhelming you, or you feel like you're not sure when to start. I want to preference by also saying you don't have to have your goals set and ready for January. You can have it on a random Tuesday in February. It takes time. It's all about alignment and intention. So welcome. Let's waste no time. We're in the kitchen because we're gonna be cooking up some good goals, and I'm gonna be giving you some good gems. And I did some work for you, so I'm a visual learner, and I figured that would be a great way to display the four steps. So let's waste no time. Let's just get into it. Now, if I veer off, it's just because I have my notes here, and it's a way for me to keep track of everything because I really put a lot into this live today. So first things first, when it comes towards setting goals, a lot of us may have some trouble doing it because we're out of alignment. Like I said, we are copying somebody else's goals. Sometimes we look at what other people are doing online, or we look at what they're doing in their life, and we're saying, okay, I could do it the exact same way. You can't, right? You may be able to, but in all actuality, sometimes it's okay to just figure out your own way to do it. It's best way to figure out your own strategic way to do it because their chapter, their book, your chapter, your book. Sometimes we're setting too many goals and we want to do all the things, but what is the real foundation of the goal that you want to set? So oftentimes, instead of having so many, what is the main goal? And I'm gonna show you how you could set the main goal and then break it down into these four categories and these four steps here. That's another one. And we sometimes may confuse our busyness and productivity with progress. And we forget about one main important ingredient, which is rest. And I'm going to talk a bit about that today. I've talked about a lot of it even in last year, the years before that, but I'm going to continuously talk about rest because we are not resting enough. And we set out time goals, outcome goals, but we don't have any systems in place, we don't have any strategies in place, and that makes it even hard for us to continue. Gyms make the most money in January and February. I would say even just December and January primarily, not even February, because by February and March people veer off, right? New year, new me, they put out all the advertisements, but the issue that I think that a lot of people are having is you got to really ask yourself, why do you even want to like go to the gym? Like, what's the real deal? So yeah, we could set an outcome goal, but if we don't have any strategy, it's just kind of like you're just throwing things to the wall. So goals are not meant I want you to understand that goals are not meant for you to be punished. They're meant for you to have the success that you want and also be feel supported. And we got to get out of the idea of chasing perfection and start just going in alignment and intention. So the very first step, and I'm just going to take it off completely, is health and wellness. But I want to break it down in other ways, not just about how you going to lose weight and all that stuff. No, I'm thinking in a bigger and broader. Prioritizing rest. I literally just spoke about that. And prioritizing sleep. Those two things, and I apologize for my handwriting. Okay. I apologize, but I hope you can see it. Prioritizing rest and prioritizing sleep more this year. And I know some people may say like I'm doing the best I can. I get it, but maybe shutting down a little bit. I'm working on it too. Of veering off of your phone, having less light. I did it last night. I ain't gonna lie to you. I left my living room, went into my bedroom, no phone. I slept really good. I ain't gonna lie to you. So prioritizing sleep, having a PM routine, having things. It doesn't have to be anything massive, but just prioritizing yourself a bit more, right? That could even be part of your big goal. Your goal, let's say like one of your goals for this year is, I ain't gonna lie to you, is me. This is your goal. Now, why is me your goal? Like, what is the main thing that you want to do? Well, I want to feel better. So you want to prioritize your sleep. You want to manage your stress and your nervous system. We talk about nervous system a lot, and I put that at the forefront last year a little bit. And a few ways that I manage my own nervous system and stress is obviously, and we're gonna get into it, boundaries. Saying no instead of saying yes. That was a big one, which is still like it's still a work in progress because especially when it comes towards those close to you, you have some tricky times with it. But learning how to, I've been doing that part for years, creating those boundaries for years, and I think last year was the final and I felt good about it. I ain't gonna lie to you, y'all. Drinking more water. I got mine next to me, right? I have been trying my best to abstain away from alcohol. Alcohol has no benefit whatsoever, so I go a couple months at a time without drinking. That's something that I've been working on. And I'm not gonna lie to you, by me drinking more water, by me managing my stress and having a more handle on my nervous system, I've been sleeping a lot better. Funny how that all kind of works in. That's why I said my priority for this year and the last few years has been me. This has been my goal, me. And I think some of us sometimes have a tough time dealing with that because we have so many responsibilities. But I often say, if I don't take care of me, if that's not my goal, I'm gonna have a tough time taking care of my responsibilities. It's gonna become far more harder for me to do so. Last year, I had the opportunity to get discharged from therapy. That was a great goal that I think I had set out, but not really. It just kind of it was happening before I could say anything. I just realized that my therapist put me in a position where I'm good. I'm able to manage a lot of things. But the only way I was able to manage a lot of things is when I set the goals by prioritizing my sleep, by regulating my nervous system, by managing my stress, and for me, abstaining from alcohol. That's something that I'm trying to do better with, and I'm going to carry that into 2026. So, and then there's coaching as well. As a coach, I have coaches, I have mentors, and both between therapy and coaching have helped me the most. So again, my main goal, I'm just giving you an example, was me. This was my goal right here. Taking care of me so that I could be the best version of myself so I could show up for everybody else. That was my goal. And I underneath health and wellness as category number one, and you could write this down or just I hope that you have an outline by the end of this live. It's by prioritizing my rest and my sleep, managing my stress and maintaining and regulating my nervous system, drinking more H2O and therapy, and of course being in coaching. I just want to pull something else up. I wrote it the other day on threads the other night of a few ways that I was able to regulate my own nervous system. Um, so I don't have any more space here, dang. But one thing I did was I shifted my mindset here. We'll say shift. Oop, my mind. I wish I could draw a brain. I shift my mindset. Um, I do deep breathing exercises. And I know a lot of people. God, my mom's gonna kill me if she ever saw my handwriting. I do deep breathing exercises a lot. Um, for those who don't know, I used to be um, a bus operator, and oftentimes dealing with the stress of the job, deep breathing was what got me through it multiple times. And what I mean by dealing with stress of the job, I just mean like you're driving a very big vehicle with passengers on it. You have people around you that want to pass you, have other drivers that are not paying attention. There's a lot, right? So the easiest way for me to manage my stress, funny how a job taught me more how to manage my stress over the years, was deep breathing. That helps me a ton. And again, I wrote down for regulating my nervous system, rest. This thing right here is so underrated. It's so underrated. And I think when we think about rest, it's not just the sleep aspect. I mean, actually having moments of rest. If you have like spurts of ah, spurts of rest, like those short moments of rest, they actually help you and carry you throughout your day and throughout your week. If it means 10 minutes you're in your car, oftentimes I take my lunch break, especially in the summertime and the fall time, I'm in my car and I'm chilling. But that's just me because that's my moment of resting. It's my lunch break. Just giving you an example. So the next goal that I think we should set and this help me in 2026 is financial. A lot of us are dealing with financial issues right now, and I understand that the economy is not the greatest in the moment, but some of these steps can help you. And the reason why I'm using my mother's and my father's, they're both immigrants from Jamaica. I'm using their thought process because they didn't have a whole lot. but they made it. And I've learned a lot from them. So build an ER fund is a goal. And you don't have to have a lot. You don't have to have like these thousands of dollars. Don't let these people online fool you. If you're even putting away $10, that's something. If you're putting away $25, that's something. So just set a goal of having an emergency fund. Maybe it's just $25 um, a week if you could pull it. If you can't, just dumb it down to 15 until you can get up to that amount. Now, I made a video about this, but I haven't posted it yet. Pay down or pay off your debt. I'm gonna be honest with you. One of the ways that I've learned is reallocating our money of how you can pay down your debt, right? Two things that I've also learned is when people buy things, we buy with emotions. So I realize I'm an emotional spender. So what I tend to do now is instead of spending a whole lot of money, I ask myself, do I need this? Or is this a want? Is this a want or is this a need? Always ask myself in terms of setting your goals, is this a want or is this a need? Right? So when you come to paying on your debt, let's say you see something online and someone says, yo, order this right now. You need this. Ask yourself, is it a want, it's a need. If you find out that it's a want, I want you to tally up that entire amount. Let's say the thing is like $54, right? It's $54. And you realize this is just a want. I want you to take that $54, pay it to your debt, or put it in your emergency fund. Because if you don't really need this thing, but you got the $54 and you're itching to spend it, reallocate it. Reallocate it to other parts of the of a goal that you're setting because your goal is you. Your main goal is you. You're prioritizing yourself. So reallocate that. Increase your income. Not everyone could do it, but if you're able to do so, increase your income. But this one right here, in terms of goal, when you're prioritizing yourself, is important. Track your spending. Create a budget. Ooh, my mama would cuss. That's horrible. I'm so sorry. But yeah, create a budget. And how you create a budget, honestly, you can create one for free. Use Google Sheets, y'all. There's templates on Google Sheets that will help you just stay on track. And don't just sugarcoat it. Add every subscription you have. I kid you not. When you do that, you realize how much money you're spending because far too many of us have too many subscriptions to begin with. And if there's any that you want to cut, cut them. And if you find that it's like you were still able to handle it, start reallocating your money. This could increase your income, believe it or not, or you could start paying down some debt or building your emergency fund. All right, so next one, I'm gonna have to shift the roof. There we go. Career and business. So if you are looking to shift careers because you could be at any age, things could happen, and all of a sudden you want to shift a career. You're just like, this ain't doing it for me anymore. You went to school for it, but it ain't hitting the way it used to hit. So this is where I should put this one first, but this is where you can learn a new skill. There is, there probably are multiple programs that you have at your job right now that will pay you to go to school. They probably have access to programs on Google. I forgot. I think it's like Google University or something like that. There's probably grants and scholarships that you could sign to, organizations, non for profits that will give you access to free skills that you can learn. I think there was recently a Home Depot is doing like programs where you can learn how to do like very minor repairs in your homes and stuff like that, but it also could be the gateway to HVAC, the gateway to electrician, the gateway. So look for the free. Remember, free 99. We like free 99 because free is good. If you're starting a business, you could either, sorry, if you want to start a business or refine a business, this is the time to do it. 2026 is going to be a little bit tricky. I have a feeling due to the recessions and all the stuff that's going on. So this is a good time to bunker down and figure out how you want to start it, and maybe you need to refine it. Good time to do that. Incorporate a work life balance. Look, we are living and we need the money, so we work. We're not living to work. We're working so that we can afford to live, right? Like if it was up to us, the money was just literally growing on trees. Nobody would be working. So find a way to have a good work life balance, right? Personally, for me, I used to wear a uniform. The moment I got into my door, the uniform went into a closet. I did not see that uniform until it was laundry day. And even after that, I ignored it. I ignored it like you wouldn't believe. It was just a way to mentally shut my brain off that I was an employee at that moment. So it's good to have a work-life balance. It's good to do things on your off days, not just sit around and rest and scroll on your phone. Have one plan. Go to the RMT. Go see a doctor. Get a dentist. Do these things to have a way where you shut down and you're not just focusing on work. And that goes for entrepreneurs. That goes for those who are working 9 to 5s. You need to have a balance. I wish I could do like a. Maybe I can. There we go. You need to have a balance because if one thing is off, it's not going to work. You need to have a balance. Now, kind of going back to that, let's say your goal is you. Everybody wants the goal to be themselves in anyways. Focus on one goal at a time. One at a time. That's what I said. So have one goal. And the thing is, when you have one goal at a time, you could have this goal time and time and time and time and time again. It doesn't have to just be one time. It doesn't have to just be two times. You could have this goal multiple times again. For example, a vision board. A vision board, for example. Once you have your vision board, if you haven't accomplished everything on the vision board, you're going to throw the vision board away? No. You could actually reuse the same vision board and keep the same visions, maybe enhance it a little bit more. Maybe what you could do is you could add your goal more at the top and say, this is the foundation, and then you break it all down. All right. So even if you haven't created your vision board, this is a great way to think about how to add the things to your vision board as well. All right. Last but not least, personal growth. My bread and butter, my friend, my homie. Now, it's personal growth and relationships. Anybody that tells you that they can do everything on their own, they are lying to you. I'm so sorry. I used to be one of those people. I could just do it. I could do it. I could do it until I started surrounding myself in environments with people that are willing to help me, but at the same time, um, are guiding me and willing to show me what I need and how I can move forward. Right. So one way I could say that I've worked on the most is being more present. This right here, being more present in the present moment. Take these devices, put them down, be more present, have more interaction with people, have more connection with people. You feel me? That is so important because when you're more present, you get to have conversations with people that you wouldn't even think have gems. Everybody has a story, everybody has some great advice. And especially if you're around my age, it's all about bridging the actually, no matter what age you are, it's all about bridging the gap. You can learn more from those who are behind you in terms of the younger generation, and you can learn far more from those who are ahead of you. No one doesn't have something they can't show you, right? How I see it is mistakes and failures are necessary in terms of growth, no matter how you put it, how you slay it. So if you have a conversation with someone ahead of you and they will say, look, I learned from this mistake. I would never make this mistake ever again because I learned from it. If I could tell somebody to not do X, I'm gonna make sure they don't do X, right? At the same time, I also want to say, and I had a thought about this a while back. When it comes towards personal growth and relationships, be very weary of being around people who don't love themselves. Be very weary about that because if you are in a season of personal growth and your goal is you're going to exude a certain type of energy, love, joy, and peace. That's going to disrupt a lot of people. I hate to say it. It's going to piss off a lot of people. And it may even piss off a lot of people who are close to you. Believe it or not, it may upset a lot of people that are close to you. So when you're thinking about personal growth and relationships, and I don't just mean like relationships with someone that you love and girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, and wife or partner. I mean relationships with friends, relationships and connectors with in terms of business, in terms of career, all of it. Be more weary because the more you grow, the more it can irritate them, right? So again, going back, be more present. Be more present in the now. Sit in the now. Don't worry. Don't focus so much on the future. You're working towards it, but at the same time, be where you are. Be where your feet are. That is the most important place. Be right where your feet are. Boundaries with yourself and others. I can't stress this one enough. When it comes towards setting boundaries, you want to set boundaries not also with other people, and yes, you're doing it to protect yourself. 1000%. But you also want to set some boundaries with yourself. You also want to set some boundaries with yourself because you could be pushing yourself so far into the limit. I get it. Like pushing yourself sometimes is good, but you could be pushing yourself so far in the limit to the point where you're not resting, you're not prioritizing your sleep, you're not managing your stress, your nervous system is shot. So don't forget to also create boundaries with yourself. Like I said, when I used to come home from work and I was wearing my uniform, my boundary was we are no longer an employee. We're an employee, but we're no longer an employee. And that's how I did it. I would put it away. I'm now me, and that's it. I gave them, let's say, the 8 hours. I'm done. It's me time. Authenticity. Be who you are. That's my singing. Uh, be authentic, man. Look, if especially when it comes towards if anything you're pouring into, if you want to be intentional. I love this word. Oh gosh, Arlene. Let me say my full name. If you want to be intentional, right? You got to be who you are. You got to be authentic, even in spaces that sometimes don't welcome it. And even when in those spaces that sometimes don't welcome it, and you know that you can remove yourself from it, then remove yourself. Anyone, I believe, anyone that is disruptive to your authenticity is not meant for you, period. Right? Because you should be in spaces that love you wholeheartedly and authentically. Now, obviously, if you're at your job and stuff like that, it's a different thing. You're doing what you got to do, but don't mean you got to stay around them. You can make your own space. You can make your own space as well. And I know there's politics with that and all that. There's a way you play the game, but at the same time, be who you are. Be who you are, especially when it comes towards the goal. So, kind of breaking it down a bit more. If your goal is to prioritize you for 2026, this is your goal. Break it down in health and wellness, your financial, your career and your biz, and your personal growth and relationship. Break it all down. These are the most easiest ways or easiest categories that you could break it all down. It'll make sense. Now, once you do all of this, then you could do the vision board, right? Then you could do the vision board. When you do the vision board, have your set one goal. What is your main goal, right? Once you break it down, and you could break it down in sheet of paper books, you could do it exactly like this with the four corners, four boxes, my four simple categories to set my goals. You break it down, and then you can start saying, okay, this is how I want to do it. The vision board is great, but a vision board without the actual vision of what it is that you want to even put on the vision board is nothing. It's just a bunch of pictures, just a bunch of stuff you're throwing at the wall. So actually, it's this one first. This is second. This is first. Set the goal, your main goal. Break it down into four categories. Then you do the vision board. That's the most simplest way that you could break it down. So I want you to ask yourself in each category, right? If you're watching this afterwards or if you join us in the live. So for health and wellness, what is one healthy goal? What's one what does healthy even look like to you this year? What does it look like? Does it look like prioritizing your rest more, right? Your sleep, managing your stress, nervous system, drinking more water, attending therapy, hiring a coach. Feel me? Two, financial goal, right? What will make you feel more financially secure? Maybe it is just starting an emergency fund. Maybe it is paying down a bit more debt. Maybe it is unsubscribing from some of these subscriptions. I actually just had a conversation with a family member where we were just kind of going through like how much they had spent on Amazon, and I said like, "Yo, delete it off your phone. If you're finding that you're spending that much, delete it off your phone. Take away the easy access. This way, you gotta bring on your laptop and da 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 da. Delete it off your phone. I don't have Amazon Prime anymore because I realized it's just not worth it for me. I'm not ordering enough to make up the 15 or whatever it was per month. And I tallied that up and I said that could have went into my savings account or pay down some debt or something. Like that could actually just spend that money and go out and have an experience with people. So just think about that as well. Like Honestly, I encourage you all to look at all your subscriptions. There are probably some that you did not even utilize it as much as it cost you in 2025, and you probably don't need it in 2026, especially if you're trying to use this. This is your goal right here, you, which is a pretty good goal, I might add. Career, right? Maybe sorry, career, my bad. Career. The question you can ask yourself: what does growth look like for you in this season? Maybe you want to make a shift, learn a new skill. Maybe you want to do a side hustle. Maybe there's a part of your organization that you work at, or your business that you want to start shifting into. Remember, the world's your buffet. All you got to do is grab a plate and move forward. I'm just gonna leave with that. And ask yourself what kind of relationships and connections in terms of personal growth, sorry, in terms of relationships, what kind of relationships you want to actually have in 2026. Are some of the friendships and the connections you have right now hitting where the way they used to hit, or are they hindering you? Are they holding you back? Are When you look at yourself in the future, are you seeing these connections coming with you along the way? Hard question to ask yourself, but when it comes towards personal growth, it's very, very necessary also. And I want you to understand, like when you break it down this way, I know it looks like a bunch of my poor handwriting, but at the same time, when you break it down in from health and wellness, financial, career and biz, and personal growth and relationships, it shifts the way you see goals. I think when people see goals, automatically we get very frustrated, we get overwhelmed, we get scared that we're not going to hit that goal. But I learned whenever you set a goal, and I do this with my clients, break it down in the most simplistic way and work towards it. It's like building a house. You're building it brick by brick, and these are your four bricks that you can start with. And once you got these four bricks going in terms of categories of health and wellness, financial, career, biz, personal growth, and relationships, then you set the one goal. Set the one main goal. And after that one main goal, then you shift to the vision board. The vision board is the last thing. And I also want to say this though, because also, sorry, I forgot to add, when you're setting that main goal, you're adding in the attention aspect to it because it's coming from your authenticity, it's coming from you. And also, before I forget, when you're doing the vision board, let's say you completed it and it's all done. That's great. Go back and look at it, whether it's every month, every quarter. You can't just leave the vision board there. And the reason why I say that is there's probably things on the vision board that you have already accomplished. There's a very good chance. I created my vision board back in November. By December, I already accomplished one thing off of it, and I just went back looking. I just looked at it like this week. I was like, wow. And when I looked at my vision board, I'm already working towards a good chunk of the stuff on there. Now, I did mine in November purposely. I've been always doing mine in November because I know by December I'm really starting to lay down the bricks of accomplishing a lot of things on my vision board. But I also don't feel overwhelmed by that. I used to start mine in March, in like April. I used to do it on my birthday sometimes in May. I used to do it in a random October because I was afraid to set goals. You feel me? So don't ever be afraid. Even though you see this outline, even if you come back and you watch this, don't ever be afraid of setting your goals. Don't. Don't feel overwhelmed because you see all the content and you're consuming it of everybody making all these. This is what we're gonna do in 2026. Yo, don't be overwhelmed by that. Give yourself some grace. You The worst thing you ever want to do is pour in energy that is just not really sure into your goals. Like you could be unsure, but I'm saying is like it's good to have a good clear thought. This is how I want to set my goals. That's why I break it down into these categories of like health and wellness, financial, career, business, and personal goals. Start there. Then you build over time. Start with four. Because if I gave you four um, categories to start with, you're not gonna feel so overwhelmed. But if I gave you like a bunch of eight, like someone gave me one time, you're not even gonna want to start. But if I give you four, it's a great way for you to actually start with a strategy. If I just gave you four, four is less of an of overwhelming than if I gave you like a list and said, okay, now go and create your goals, right? That's why I've broken it down to this so that not only my clients but myself cannot feel overwhelmed when we're creating goals. And we could create the goals with intention, right? And we could create the goals from our authentic self. We could create the goals from a place of rest, a regulated nervous system. Our stress is managed, right? A clear mind. And we have also support, whether it's therapy and coaching, or also have support when it comes towards having um, people in our lives to help us get to where we want to go. So don't ever feel too overwhelmed when it comes towards your goals. That's also when you're sorry, also when you're setting your goals for this year, set in a place of peace if you can, peace and quiet. So if you are uh, a mother, a father, and or a person taking care of someone, and that's hard for you to do. If I'm asking, can you sacrifice 30 minutes of scrolling? Pretty sure you could, right? So if you can get up just a little bit early, or if you have a moment when they are more situated, uh, beginning or end of your day, or if you have a moment during the day where you know they're situated, if you're in your car, like on a lunch break, sit down, take your time. There's no rush in completing this. Take your time because you also want to set the goal from a place of intention, for sure. You want to set the goal from a place of intention. So take a moment, sit down, and set the goal from that type of space when you're doing this and give yourself some time. There was a lady, and I talked about this in I think my previous live of my last live of 2025. She had 100 mana oop, manifestation list, right? 100. I ain't gonna lie to you. Overwhelmed the absolute shit out of me. I mean, because I was like, I don't think I even hit 100 yet. I don't think I have. I was like, 100? You've lost the block. How am I going to come up with that? I'm still building it. And when do I build it? On my lunch break. When do I build it? When I wake up in the morning. When do I build it? When I have like a moment. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm 100 manifestation list. I go through what I put. I'm like, oh, shoot, okay. And then I add more and I add more and I add more. It's okay to take your time. This is not like a race. We are not Hussein Bolt. We are allowed to take our time when it comes towards something that's so precious to us, especially when it's something as precious as our goals, right? And I, I'm trying to figure out where I put it. It's not all about the getting to the destination. The journey is the most important part when it comes towards setting your goals. And the reason why your journey is the most important part is because the journey is where the gems are. The journey is where the habits form. The journey is where your consistency builds. The journey is where the discipline builds. The journey is where the goodness and the meat and the potatoes. Like, have you ever tried to scrape a bottom of a pot? And when you scrape the bottom of the pot, what happened? That's the best part, bro. I don't care what else to say. That's where all the gems are. The destination is great, but in between is even better. In between is even better. Kind of going back to what I said before, be wary of in this moment when you're setting all these goals. Be wary of who is around you. Be wary of the energy that you're sitting in because if if your goal is for you, is me, that is your goal. You got to be cautious of those who are around you in this moment of you building because these here are bricks. These are bricks to the foundation of the future that you keep seeing and visualizing and dreaming about. These are the bricks to that. So be very cautious of who is around your environment when you are building the best version of you. You feel me? You understand? All right. So kind of bring it all together. Once you think about it, these categories also in this way. Your health supports your energy. Your energy benefits you. Your financial supports your stability, benefits you. Also, I don't know if you know, when you actually start getting a hold of your finances, this reduces your stress. This also can regulate even more. That's what I mean. I tell you to look on the subscription them, not just the subscriptions, of also how you're allocating your money. I understand how finances are very dear for many of us, but once you sit down and you really allocate how much you're spending, there's gonna be a moment you're just like, how me I spend so much on just foolishness. I'm telling you, just take a peek. Your career supports your career and your business could support you also financially. In some cases, in some for business, it can support your purpose as well. And your personal growth supports your fulfillment, right? So these are not just like, little categories, right? These are the ways that you're going to be able to set one goal, one, focusing on one goal at a time. And it's not about just setting 50 of them. It's about setting one and using these to anchor you to get there. So, what I want you to do is I want you to write down just one goal. I apologize for my atrocious handwriting, but I want you to write down one goal because we're going to focus on one goal at a time. In fact, I'm bringing out my green one because I want you to see it. I want you to focus on one goal at a time. Just one. Just one goal. And I want you to, you're probably going to rewrite that goal multiple times. That's okay. But as long as you have a good idea of what the goal is, then I want you to ask yourself, why is this goal so important to me? Why is it so important to me in this chapter that I'm in? That will help you break these down even more. So that's all I got for you guys today. I ain't got much saliva left, so I spoke a lot. Your girl is thirsty. And I hope this helps break it down. If you have any questions and you want to know a little bit more about how you could break it down into the categories and set your goals, please let me know. Because I'm in the comments, let me know. I'm happy to help y'all because we're gonna just lock in. This is us locking in. This is us locking in. But we're not just locking in January. We're locking in from January all the way to December and onward. You understand me? You understand me? All right. So we are back on for the Dope Like podcast. A very new episode will be dropping this Tuesday. So stay tuned. I will see y'all next week for another successful Sundays. Let me know how you felt about the breaking down of the board. I personally actually enjoyed it. Maybe I'll incorporate a little bit more often in my lives. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comments. I love feedback, and it's all about growing here. We're all about personal growth and growing our business, and getting you guys financially secure and getting our health and wellness in check. That's what it's all about. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's live, and I hope you have a really good week ahead. And what also I want you to think of is one word that you could positive word that you could take into this week. All right, y'all. I'll see you on Tuesday with the Dope Life Podcast. You know what to do. Walk with peace.